Hello, Paul here. It's September 3rd, 2024. I'm with my beautiful wife, and we are at the top of Nikia, which is a town on the island of Nisseris in the country of Greece. And so we just drove to the top of the mountain in this little red car, and we're at a church, and I'll show you that in a minute. But first, let's just look over the edge here and see what we see. So this is Volcano Valley, and the island here was very mineral rich, so they would grow a lot of crops and a lot of food. And you can tell, you see the terraces over there, all over there, you see those sort of horizontal lines? Well, what happened here is, although this is a very dry and inhospitable place, they terraced all of these areas and grew a tremendous amount of food. And this was a very prosperous and densely populated island with a lot of people working the land. And I think what happened is the tractor really did away with this form of agriculture. That's Paul's theory, but that's a good discussion. So let's go. We're in a very panoramic situation, so you can walk around. So let's do a 360 right here. So you stand there, and I'll just walk around and just follow me. And you see how we're at the very top of a very panoramic situation. There's only a couple of places where we can't see the ocean or see a great distance. So I'll make the full revolution, and then we'll go into the church, which is called, I believe it's called Prophet Elias in Nikia. There's another Prophet Elias on the mountain just to my right over here. But let's go in here and look at the church. Beautiful church. And we're the only ones here. A lot of the tourists have gone home. Summer's over. But we'll walk over here and just circle the little courtyard here.
Was that Mandraki through you see in the
No, I think that's Yali. So what we have here is it's a big bowl. And so the island is round, about 5 meters in diameter. But this whole
5 meters?
I'm sorry, 5 miles. The whole center of the island blew out and formed Yali and maybe other areas. It blew in the ash and the what blew out of the island created other islands and landed in the ocean. And so we have here is a huge caldera, and there are 5 craters in here. You can't see them all, but they're down there. You can see the Stephanos crater, which is the biggest one. And so it's like a big bowl. The island's like a big bowl, and there's a ring road that goes around a large portion of it, and there's just so much to tell. But let's walk around. We'll just narrate as we go, watching our step. So there's the crater. There's a crater there and there. And there. I know where 4 of them are. There's probably 2 in there, so that's probably the 5th one. There's a beautiful breeze here. So when the island would get invaded, which happened quite frequently, they would come to the mountaintop villages of Emboryo, which is there, which is where we plan to go and have lunch. Or they would come to Nikia, which is to my left, right there. And so when the invaders would come, they would flee to these mountaintop villages. And there's also a fortification down in the main town of Mandraki called the Old Castle, Palio Castro. And they would go there. So being a small island, they were routinely attacked and occupied. The last occupation here was the Germans, in the Nazi Germans in World War II. And then before that, the Italians And then before that, the Turks.
You
And-
might want to explain about the sulfur operation down there with the Nazis.
Yeah, I don't know how the Nazis fit in, but there was a sulfur mining operation, and I believe the sulfur was used for explosives. There's a port down to my left on the coast where there's a large stockpile of something yellow, which I think is sulfur. So, yeah. Okay, we'll keep moving here. And so there's a road that goes around. You see it starts to the right of the volcano, goes in front of the volcano, and then up to the left, there's a church up there called Stavros, which means cross. And that goes all the way back to, there's a helicopter port and back to the town, the main town where we're staying. But we'll come around here and just, so this is a better view of Nikya. And you can see the terraces out there. And you can see the terraces right there. Very, very steep incline, but it's all been cultivated. And that is just, it's mind-blowing when you're there. And you see the amount of work that went into making those terraces. And then there's no water here. So anyone could tell you that it's impossible to grow food here. But these people, my ancestors, were tougher than that. And they figured out how to grow food here, which is phenomenal. I mean, I have a garden in Tennessee where it rains and we have beautiful soil. But the fact that they did what they did is unbelievable. It is really just amazing.
And I think they must have grown wheat here because
Yes, they
remember
did.
the picture we saw yesterday at the car rental place? There was a picture of a lady who was grinding
Yep.
grain
Yep.
to make bread
They
in her
grew,
kitchen.
they grew wheat here and they would winnow it. So if you go to the tops of these peaks here, and I've hiked up there, you'll see like a round circle of stone. And these are, and they would put them in the peaks because they would separate the wheat from the chaff. They'd throw it up in the air, the chaff and the wheat together, and the chaff would blow out of the circle. And the wheat is heavier and denser and it would fall down. And so they would separate the wheat from the chaff in these little winnowing circles. We might see one on this next trip here. I'll hold your hand while we go around. There are some edges here. And so
I think goats have been here.
goats have been here, yes.
I
And
don't know
so
how they got in though.
there's a beautiful walk down to Nikya. And then there's a road down there. If you see that road, we're going to go for a swim and we're going to drive down this this road to Avlaki. And then you look out here and you see just, it's just amazing. I mean, the whole thing is just unbelievable. All these gardens. And then out there is the island of Tilos. And that's a much bigger island.
Is that big island behind the little one?
Yes, the big island, the little one, I don't know what it's called.
And is that, see that little ravine there? Does that
Yep.
go to Paquiamos?
It's a good question. I don't think so, but no, I think it goes somewhere else. And so in those ravines, they would use those to catch rainwater because all of these fields had to be watered. And they would make catchments and run them into cisterns, which are like pear-shaped water tanks that were made out of plaster and ancient cements. So we'll keep going up here. And so there are over 200 inhabited islands in the country of Greece. This is probably, Nisarus is probably the smallest one. And so you see the rooftops are all flat. All the houses have flat roofs, and that's because they're collecting rainwater. So the water would hit, the rainwater would hit the roof, and then it would go down a pipe to below the house to the cistern. And that would be the source of water for the, till the next rain. for the entire family, and that's a really remarkable situation. But all of that similar technology is used in all of these fields to irrigate all of these fields. And so I guess we're getting to the end of it now. You can see some rainwater catchments, those cement rooftops there. Some of them are just catchments and not actually on top of houses. But yeah, and then if you look over to the left, there is Turkey, the country of Turkey, where refugees are currently coming. Not very many, but a few of the boats will come to Niceris from Turkey. And but that's that landmass right there. It's a peninsula that comes out of Turkey, comes very close to this island. And then we can't see behind that mountain, but there's the island of Kos, K-O-S. And that island is where the airport is. So we fly in there, and then we take like a 1.5
It's
hour.
also where Hippocrates is from.
That's where Hippocrates, who is in the United States, in the medical system, we have what's called the Hippocratic Oath, and Hippocrates, that's named after him. And the
I
motto
think
is
it's not just the States. I think it's
it global?
global.
Okay. And his motto is do no harm, and let thy food be thy medicine, and thy medicine be thy food. So it was focused on prevention. Something that's desperately needed in the United States and probably all over the world, where we have a medical system and a pharmaceutical system that is focused on curing everything, when really what we need to be focusing on is preventing disease, and we have the ability to do that.
And Kos
right
is
now.
also mentioned at the beginning of chapter 21 of
Yep.
the book of Acts.
Okay. Yep. In Acts 21, the Apostle Paul sailed from Kos to Rhodes, which is a couple islands this way, and so
And Rhodes has a very close connection with Niceris, doesn't it?
yes, it does. A lot of people go back and forth between Rhodes and Niceris, and my family included.
Do you want to mention the little Spiliadi down there?
Where's that?
See down there, the little. Do you know?
Okay, it's tough to see, but there's a little stone hut, and these are I won't pronounce it right.
Spiliadi.
Say
Spiliadi.
Spiliadi. And what they are is little huts that, when they were working the fields, it was impractical for them to go home every night. So they would come to the fields, work the fields for days or weeks until the work was done, and then they would live in these and then go back to their village. And so we own one of these. It's in considerable disrepair, but it's beautiful because a lot of people are fixing these up, and they're using them for vacation rentals, VRBO, or Airbnb, whatever, and that's sort of breathing life into the situation. It would be wonderful to see these fields be utilized in the way they were years ago, but there'd have to be some changes in the technology, which could likely happen for that to take place. But I think, is there anything else we left out? I mean, there's so much more we could talk about, but the view here is inspiring. The stimulus from this view is just phenomenal, and it really just is very I hate to say the word mind-blowing, it's probably over, but it really is amazing. The toughness of this people, the strength of this people that were here and that are here still. I was blessed to be able to play soccer with a lot of the men from the island. They're very good soccer players, very hospitable to someone like me who doesn't speak Greek, and I'm a lot older than they are, so I don't really keep up as well. But some great folks here, and past and present, and in future tense. I know that a lot of really great folks will come here and seek a way of life that's inspirational and powerful and peaceful. So thanks for watching our video. We'll wind it up there. Over and out.